Good afternoon. This is Across the Fence. I'm Jolene Whitney. Tomorrow is Halloween, and according to the National Retail Federation, the average American will spend $108.24 in celebration of the holiday. For the residents of a neighborhood in Waterbury, Halloween is the reason for the spookiest of seasons. In collaboration with VermontCast online internet-based news program, we bring you the story of Randall Street. This neighborhood of resilient Vermonters puts on a Halloween block party that you have to see to believe. Let's join Across the Fence's Ben Willis, who gets into the spirit of Halloween on Randall Street in Waterbury.
We're gonna have to put some rocks on this.
Why?
Because it's really tippy.
I am Tracy Deneen. I live in Waterbury. My husband, Ryan, and I moved here in 2014. And we have 3 little kiddos. Genevieve is the youngest, and then Gus and Wyatt are the 2 boys.
Our kids are 6, 8, and 10 this year, which I feel like is Halloween. Like they're all super into it. So we're getting a little bit scarier because, you know, they're a little bit older. So we're gonna add some more stuff this year, which should be fun.
Ryan and Tracy live here on Randall Street. And living on Randall Street means going all out for Halloween. In fact, it's practically a requirement.
It was discussed at our house closing in the attorney's office, actually, which was pretty funny. The previous owners were like, you really need to understand that by buying this house, you have to participate in Halloween, and that you're going to be getting 800 to 1,000 trick-or-treaters, and it's non-negotiable, you have to do it. I mean, they were kind of joking, but we love Halloween, so we were really excited about that.
This is really fun. I love this thing.
Put it in the corner, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I think close up is cooler.
Can I go ahead and put the blood bank sign up on
Yeah,
it?
you can drill that on.
Okay.
On Halloween, this street is closed to motorists, creating a spooky pedestrian walkway packed full of trick-or-treaters of all ages.
You know, you have some street cred around here for being on Randall Street. It's kind of intimidating, actually, because you have to feel like you're doing enough to make it exciting for everybody. So it's a process. I can show you our backyard and what Ryan's brain is like, but he's always taking scrap wood and making new things. We usually build a fence and then have like a graveyard and then make our pumpkins into people. We got a smoke machine for the first time, so we've got to figure out how to use that.
Mine's pretty big. Mine are like...
A lot bigger, yeah.
But...
Because then it's shooting up, which is super cool.
Well, we can try.
Everyone's involved with it, which is pretty cool.
I'm Georgia Ayers. I live at 18 Elm. The tradition, the day of Halloween, everyone's out, as you can see, setting up, decorating, getting it ready.
Some people go pretty scary. Other houses are a little bit more friendly, and so you can kind of choose if you think it's too scary for your kids. It makes it fun for everybody.
So many trick-or-treaters come through here that Waterbury residents actually donate candy to houses on Randall Street. But that support would rise to a whole new level when Randall Street was hit hard by this summer's historic flood.
The flood was challenging. Personally, we had like 7.5 feet of river water in our house, and our concrete slab basement fractured, so we had 3 feet of mud. So we had to move out for a while. We had to get a lot of support to clean up. But honestly, I know people say this a lot, but the community was so unbelievably inspiring. The people came and helped, and I never felt more of like part of something than in the volunteer efforts. I think at one point there was 7 women mucking mud in my basement with buckets and pulling them out for hours at a time, and by wheelbarrow and shovel, and it was pretty incredible.
Before the rain had started, Tracy began to clear the mountains of decorations from their basement. It was then that she began to have second thoughts about her family's commitment to Halloween.
So on Monday, the day of the flood, I was home from work, and I was like, I'm just gonna start evacuating stuff because I'm nervous and, you know, watching the news. And 6 hours of taking stuff out of the basement. It was like skeletons and vampires and pumpkins and these ghosts. If people give me hand-me-downs, I take them because you'll never know when you need them. So we have, shelf upon shelf of Halloween decorations. And I'm like, I'm never doing Halloween again. This is ridiculous that I'm spending 6 hours trying to move this stuff into like a 3-story attic. But everything was saved, so we were okay. And now, of course, after like the community helping us so much, you just want to go even bigger because this is, something we're like offering to them to have, a special experience. So you get caught up into it. I think too, just because, we, with the flood, we're like replacing our furnace and we're doing all of these things and you just want to buy something fun when you're spending all that money, that I am in Home Depot like every other day and I'm like, oh gosh, do you think a 12-foot skeleton's too much? I don't know.
Halloween is for the kid and every adult.
With the help of their neighbors and other volunteers, the always resilient residents of Randall Street are bouncing back, and this Halloween, it will once again be the site of droves of trick-or-treaters. In Waterbury, I'm Ben Willis with Across the Fence.
Thanks, Ben. Our next story is a little less lighthearted as we investigate an ages-old murder in Montpelier that continues to haunt the town. The specter of the victim is said to lounge around a local landmark that towers over the city. Keith, these puns are killing me. Let's join Caleb May as he tells the twice-told tale of the ghost of Ann Wheeler.
This is Montpelier, Vermont, the nation's smallest capital. It is home to just over 8,000 people, a quiet downtown, and one of the most haunted buildings in New England.
Built in 1872 for a whopping $50,000, College Hall has recently served as the home for the Vermont College of Fine Arts. But it may not only be students walking these halls, as many reports of ghostly apparitions have emanated from that tower, which could be linked to one of the most famous murders in Vermont history, all the way back in 1897.
All reports of ghostly activity seem to point to the same person, a young woman named Anna Wheeler. I sat down with Michelle Singer, the former program assistant for the MFA in Writing program at the Vermont College of Fine Arts.
I got my office and it was already known as Anna's Hangout. That was the nickname for the office. And the residency came in and a student came up and put a note near the door for Anna. And I didn't open it and I didn't read it, but I was like, oh, okay, this is really something.
Anna has been the poltergeist in residence for the Vermont College of Fine Arts for years now, gaining a cult-like following in the process. Reports of her mischievous behavior ranges from knocking over books, moving furniture, and ghostly theft. Despite her popularity and namesake cafe, little was known about Anna's origin. That is, until Michelle went on the case.
Yeah, I'm an English major, right? So I love stories. And VCFA is a place like you're surrounded by people who love stories. We're in a library. I work in a place where people love stories. So I think that's really at the heart of it is I'm a lover of stories like everyone else in that building. And so I just want to know. I just can't help myself. I want to know. And so I started doing the research and looking at the families on Ancestry.com.
Anna Wheeler was just 17 years old in 1897. And yet was already involved in a bitter love triangle between her fiancé, 22-year-old Jack Wheeler, and Mildred Brewster, who was 20 years old at the time.
It just gets into this, love triangle of Mildred kind of losing it over him dating Anna and her coming over to where Anna's staying with her cousins and having a conversation on the porch. And then they go and they leave that house. And I've walked the walk. You can go to the house where Anna was staying, and then you come up to College Street and you walk over past College Hall.
As they walked, Mildred began to implore Anna to give up Jack and recognize Mildred as Jack's true love. Steadfast in her affection, Anna refused.
Anna and Mildred made their way down College Street, this very street, on their way to Jack's house just over there on Sibley Avenue. It was shortly after passing College Hall that Mildred pulled out her hidden firearm and shot Anna in cold blood.
And she falls to the ground. And there's people in houses who can see this from their porches and from their kitchen windows. And then Mildred turns the gun on herself, the same thing behind the right ear, and pulls the trigger, and there they both are on the ground.
Anna would not survive this shooting. It is said that as she fell to the ground, the last thing she ever saw was the ever-present silhouette of the College Hall Tower. Miraculously, Mildred survives and faced an infamous trial at the Vermont State Courthouse. Using a revolutionary insanity plea, Mildred gets off on no charges and lives out her life in Seattle. However, stories seem to indicate that her spirit never left the courthouse, which she haunts to this day. Despite her best efforts, Michelle was unable to locate Jack Wheeler after the shooting. However, one thing is for certain. As long as there is a story to be told, Michelle will be hot on its tail.
Looked more closely today that she died of cancer of the stomach, which I hadn't remembered that detail. And so here I am in her office, and I would climb up the tower every once in a while and kind of sit up there, and I like to sit up there and just think about the actual story. And to me, truth is stranger than fiction. The real story was much more interesting to me than the lore of glass breaking, which, I'll take that here or there. But when I thought about these two very real people, Anna and Mildred and Jack, and what brought them to that moment and reading their story, that to me was like the most interesting and the most compelling part of it, was their actual lives and what happened that day.
Michelle Singer reminds us that behind every good ghost story are real people and a real history waiting to be uncovered. In Montpelier, I'm Caleb May with Across the Fence.
Thanks, Caleb. That's our program for today. We welcome all manner of ghouls, ghosts, and goblins to visit us online by searching Across the Fence on Facebook and YouTube. Have a good one.